Good morning, everybody. Today we are talking to the double energy twins, which I love saying, by the way. It's Judi and Shari Zucker, and for those of you who don't know, they are the health and natural cooking stars. You've definitely seen them on TV. You know who they are, and they published several books, and they've got a new one out. And Judi and Shari, the first question I'm dying to ask you guys is how did the two of you actually decide that you wanted to work together?
Well, actually, since we were in the womb together, it was pretty easy. It was like very comfortable. And after we got out, we said we've got to start working together. And then we just loved having that synergy. Working together, one person writes one chapter, I write another, and then we edit it. We're in sync. It's just pretty easy. It came naturally.
Oh my gosh! So you guys don't fight? You actually work together? I know a lot of twins that fight, and there's no way they'd be able to stand being in the same room as each other, let alone have a career together.
That's amazing that you know many twins like that because we find that the twin relationship is like your best day times 100. It is the greatest relationship, and it's like having an unconditional, greatest best friend in the world. So we think it's a blessing. Yeah, and also, Anand, I don't know if you know this, but we have five straight generations of twins in our family. Our father's a twin, and
Whoa!
so we got a real twinning streak. Yeah.
Wow! We only have one set of twins in my family, and they're only four. But man, they fight over everything. I
Okay.
can't. I cannot wait until they start getting along. Maybe I'm gonna give them your book as they get older and try to get them to actually work together.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
So so it's amazing that you work together. But how did you get decide you want to get involved in health and natural cooking? Because you
Well,
started at a very young age.
yes, we our first book came out when we were 16 called How to Survive Snack Attacks Naturally. And it came because our mother, who has always been our inspiration, is the world's worst cook. Seriously. I mean, it was survival. She would give us burnt toast was her specialty and cracked egged omelets, and we just said no way. So we stuffed this drawer with recipes because she actually had cookbooks like the old-fashioned Betty Crocker cookbooks. And what we would do is we would read them and then we would substitute. We take out the white flour and we use whole grain flour. We put in natural sweeteners like honey or maple syrup, agave, or even applesauce for the sugar. And we started doing this at a pretty young age, and we started realizing because we ran cross country and track in high school. In fact, we started the first women's cross country
Excellent.
team at Beverly Hills High, the
Excellent.
Pioneer League. And we held the
Hey,
mile.
careful, Shar, you're dating us.
Yes, we held the mile and 2 mile record there, and we realized that certain foods gave us a lot more energy. And we stuffed this drawer with recipes. And our dad, who's a Hollywood publicist, Erwin Zucker, said, "What are you going to do with all these recipes?" And we said, "We're going to write a book." And it almost was like on a whim. And he goes, "Well," and then he said, "Well, if you're going to write a book, we got to give you a name." And actually, the Double Energy Twins is a name that is trademarked. And it's kind of funny now as we're older and we have our own kids being called the Double Energy Twins, but it really is an appropriate name for us because we are so filled with energy. Because really, if you think about it, the love and food, it energizes you.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the biggest complaints that I actually get when we talk about health food from people trying to do these recipes is it's hard to find good ingredients, and if they go to a store like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, it's more expensive, it's out of their budget. So I mean, even for celebrities, they who have assistants that go out and buy them stuff, they don't actually want to spend 10 times more. And if you're not in Los Angeles, it's difficult to find. So do you have any advice for people on where they can actually get good ingredients?
Well, you can get some of the ingredients online and get less expensive, but I've been finding that Trader Joe's is very reasonable, actually, and they have a lot of organic produce there, too, and organic products. Whole Foods also has their 365 line, and they've come down in price a lot, too, to be competitive. So
Great.
when people demand it and request it and want it, like the demand causes the prices to go down. And plus, if you actually make your own foods, in the long run, it's less expensive and not only healthier but cleaner too. That's what Shari and I do with all our cookbooks. Is we want to make it simple, easy, quick, fun, and this is actually not going to be more expensive in the long run at all. Hey, listen, it's a lot less expensive than a doctor's bill. I was just going to say that.
Ah, brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Right? I mean, who wants to? I mean, can you imagine how much diabetes and high cholesterol cost? And
Listen, we want to tell you because we write these books on health and nutrition, and most of them are they're all vegan and vegetarian recipes. Is that free? When you think about it, over $150 billion a year is spent on medical bills due to obesity, which is a preventable disease. And from obesity comes diabetes, comes all these other horrible diseases that really make you feel bad too. And I mean, we wouldn't even have to worry about Obamacare or any kind of medical bills if we took charge of our own health. And that includes exercise and the food. For example, in our latest book, The Memory Diet, we based this on what is called the Mind Diet. And the Mind Diet this is scientific research, and it was done by Rush University out in Chicago, where you could basically reduce your risk of getting Alzheimer's or dementia by 53% by following a diet that was like this. And that diet includes green leafy vegetables, nuts, berries, beans, whole grains, and olive oil. And we have recipes that have these great ingredients in them. And to have these kind of brain boosting foods, I mean, losing your brain is like so sad. Right, and we have firsthand experience with that, Ann. And I don't know if you read in the preface, but our mother has dementia, and this was the scariest diagnosis for us. And we were determined to help her, to do whatever we could. We've slowed it down better than any type of drugs that were prescribed to her,
fantastic.
just through our recipes and through our lifestyle choices and changes that we made for her. And we're going to help people reduce their chances and prevent it, because memory loss is not normal. And since there is no cure, we've got to work on helping people doing this.
Absolutely, and not just preventative in old age. One of the interesting things that struck me when flipping through the memory diet is it's I'm Indian, and it's kind of funny. You guys sound like my mother and my grandmother in these. So what they used to do is Indians are really big in Ayurvedic stuff, no matter how modern
Yeah.
they get. And when we were kids and we would take tests, our parents would make us eat almonds and walnuts.
Out of all of the places in the world, India has the lowest incidence of dementia and Alzheimer's, and many people attribute it to the spices that they use. For example, turmeric and black pepper. And these are not only anti-inflammatory, but black pepper, for example, has piperine in it, which inhibits the breakdown of neurotransmitters to the brain. And also, turmeric, it contains curcumin, which inhibits the neurotoxins that have been linked to neurodegenerative disorders. So there's a lot to be said about that. And as far as talking about almonds and walnuts, well, that's one that we have 7 brain boosting food groups, and one of them is the seeds and nuts. And walnuts and almonds, cashews, pistachios, flax seeds, sesame seeds, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, all contain DHA and EPA, which are omega-3 fatty acids that are really good for the brain. And so many times we've heard people say to us in this culture for the last 20 years, oh, we have to go on a low-fat diet. And we forget that certain fats are really good for you. In fact, the brain is over 60% fat, and we need certain fats like that. And that's why olive oil and even the coconut oil are so good for you. Because, right. It doesn't surprise us that your mom and your grandma, they were smart. They gave you almonds and walnuts before a test. It's no wonder you did so well.
Yeah, and not to mention what I really like about the book is you did actually cover an argument I have with my doctor every year, and that's about statins. And that's everyone should refuse. The problem is insurance companies, have a right to kind of screw you over if you need statins and you don't take them. But preemptively, I advise everybody should actually follow a lot of these diets to bring your cholesterol down naturally, or at least keep it at bay, so you actually have some leverage with your doctor to argue against taking statins.
Oh my gosh! First of all, not only do we talk about in our book recipes and foods, but these are lifestyle choices that people need to understand. The anticholinergic drugs, which are statins, antihistamines, interfere with our brain, and it's so important that we understand that, because just changing your diet around, like you said, can reduce your bad cholesterol cholesterol, and we don't need to have those statins. And listen, the biggest drug pushers in the world, honestly, are the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors. We need
big
to
money.
take
It's
charge.
big money.
We need to take charge of our health.
That's right, and it is
We
big
lecture
money.
all over the country on this, and and sometimes people will sit there, and some of the doctors may not like to hear us say this because we know that, for example, we use way too many antibiotics, and now we're getting strains that are resistant to that. We've got to let the body always wants to heal. Food can harm, food can heal, and we have to make an effort to take charge.
Right, that's why we have over 150 healthy recipes that are delicious in the memory diet.
Even, for example, when you're talking about statins, one of the things that higher our cholesterol is our saturated fats in red meat. And UCLA did a study that suggests that the iron that accumulates in the brain, that is not the good iron, comes directly from red meat.
Wow.
And is a factor attributing to Alzheimer's. That's why in the MIND diet they say don't do the saturated fats like the butter, the cheese, the pastries, the refined sugars that increase your insulin resistance. They often refer to Alzheimer's as diabetes 3, the diabetes type 3, because of the insulin and how it affects the brain.
Once again, the name of the book is The Memory Diet, more than 150 healthy recipes for the proper care and feeding of your brain. I don't care how old you are, you should pick up this book and check it out. And let's close off with letting everybody know how they can get in touch with you.
Well, they could go to our website, which is doubleenergytwins.com, and they can also sign up for Recipe of the Month, and they'll see our other books. We have 7 published books on the website that were really great, that are sugar-free, plant-based, and we also
on
on
Twitter. We tweet almost every day really great information. This is free.
And our Twitter account is
DBL Twins, at DBL Twins, at DBL Energy Twins.
Right, DBL Energy Twins.
DBL
and also our
Energy
Facebook
Twins.
and Pinterest is the Double Energy Twins.
Right.
All right, fantastic. And if we're able to, hopefully, guys, there's a link under this post somewhere to pick this book up. All right, thanks again, Judi and Shari.
Thank you so much. Thank you.